Good evening, everybody. My name is Jay Castro, and this is the Black Wolvz Podcast. We actually have a really great special guest today, a really close friend of mine, Cedric. How you doing today, Cedric?
Great, I'm great, Jay. Thank you, Mahada.
Thank you for coming on the show. I brought you on because you're a pillar of our community. We actually have a 99 Sports, multiple actually in the area, and actually drew my children. Can you kind of talk about your business that you're running right now and how you're kind of impacting the community with your business?
Yeah, it was something that, fell into my lap, so to speak. Um, my background, I'm born and raised here in the peninsula. Been playing sports since I was 5, 6 years old. Yeah. Had a profound impact on my life, where I am now, in all phases, physically, mentally, spiritually. I mean, sports just had a tremendous impact on me. And it was something that I just signed up I think it was 4 or 5 years old, signed him up at the time and didn't think anything of it. And, a few weeks later, after I signed him up, found out it was something that was available for sale. And I've done other businesses and, obviously worked and other corporate settings. But when this came across my lab, it felt like it was perfect. It felt like it was for me. Right. And, the fact that I can be involved in sports, bring sports programs to kids, especially nowadays, they need it more than ever.
Yeah.
And impact communities, help them create memories, um, and all the other good things that come with sports. Yeah, it's been it's been a blessing and something that I've enjoyed for the past 5 years now.
Wow.
And so yeah, we are able to impact the community of kids as young as 3 years old. You know, it's just kind of cool being able to plant those seeds and impact their lives. For social years to come.
Yeah. Yes. Did you have any experiences like that when you were a child?
When I had so many people that impacted me, coaches that impacted me. And I tell people all the time, if it wasn't for the coaches that I had, we wouldn't have I-9s. We wouldn't have those around for these kids. People that, built me, they built me up, through sports and prepared me for life, prepared me for all the things that come at you in life. And so, yeah, hopefully I'm able to help, and kids reflect years from now, be able to say the same thing about my programs, that they help them, it starts that foundation that they were able to build on and be successful in life.
And what sports do you guys do over at Highlight Sports?
Man, we do soccer, we do basketball, we do flag football, we do coach t-ball, coach pitch, baseball. So those are the ones that we run for the kids.
Okay. Okay. Did you play any sports when you were younger?
Baseball, well, my first love, basketball, football. Those were the popular sports when I was growing up. Where I'm from. So, yes, was obsessed, obsessed with sports. Man, it was my life.
Okay. So I have a couple questions. We'll segue into a couple different things. What advice would you give the next generation of leaders, creators, and visionaries?
It's a mouse. The first thing that comes to mind is lead from the heart. Just lead from the heart, and people will follow. If your vision is clear and strong and um, positive, you know, uh, you'll attract the right people. People will follow, and you'll be able to make a strong impact. If that's what you're looking to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Did it. Oh, what are some dreams you have yet to achieve, and how do you plan on manifesting them?
It's a great question. One of my dreams is uh, early retirement.
I think we all have that dream.
And being able to wake up when I'm done sleeping, uh, support my kids and eventually my grandkids or whatever they're doing and extend countless hours with my wife, my best friend who I love spending time with, so that's a dream of mine that I'm working towards. Okay, still, it's like we all.
I'm on the same journey as you, and we're on the same wavelength. I see. I was there's probably on the same wavelength. How do you maintain a healthy mindset, especially during tough times?
You know, um, it's really for me, because I'm a visionary guy, and I'm ambitious and driven, and always chasing goals, and I've been like that since I was a little dude. You know, the one of the things that I kind of learned uh, as I gotten older, and you know, been in situations where it's stressful and all over the place, is just take life one day at a time, man. Yeah, just lay it down. Take life one day at a time. Make sure that even in the chaos, you have a spirit of gratitude. Yeah. For all the blessings, all the good things that you actually have going on. So it's easy to focus on the chaos,
Yeah.
and the busyness and the whatever worries you have, but to slow down and have the right mindset, I think it's helped me tremendously. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. What are some mental habits or practices you engage in to keep growing?
Uh, you know, I uh I read, I read
Any type of books that you recommend right now?
which I may. I haven't read anything recently, but like in the past few months, but you know, I always am attracted to leadership books, John C. Maxwell, you know, just general personal development stuff. Uh, my favorite book is the Bible. you know, can't go wrong in the Bibles. That's what I read. Um, and yeah, I mean, I've been a big personal development person for a lot of years, so I've read countless books, man, countless books, and it's just kind of feeding yourself all that good stuff, that comes out when you need it.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah. Well, since you're talking about Bible, what does spiritual growth mean to you, and how does it evolve over time for you?
right? Um, yeah, that's a good question, man, and I think when you're younger, spiritual growth means, one thing. And when you start experiencing life, it turns into something else.
Yeah.
And for me, when I think back, when I was younger, it was just making sure I went to church, you know what I mean? And being involved from that standpoint. But, as you get older, for me, it just becomes more than that. It's just a personal relationship with God. Yeah. Um, and really, the growth to me is how you respond during the tough times. Yeah. Are you able to still have faith? Are you able to still trust? And like really, you know what I'm saying? And and let that give you peace. Sure. You know what I'm saying? To me, spiritual growth is when you can actually live with peace,
Yeah.
in peace during whatever,
Yeah.
good, bad, just being at peace. So for me, that's what I guess spiritual maturity or spiritual growth is to me.
Sure. Sure. What are some daily or weekly practices that help you nurture your spirit?
Man, one of the things that I do every day, Monday through Friday, is as I listen to encouraging stuff in the morning when I'm commuting, taking my student to school. The same way, Joel Osteen is my guy. I've looked at him as a mentor. I've never met him in person, but he's my virtual mentor. He has been for years. Read his books, listened to his messages, and um, you know, my son who's riding with me in the morning, my 10-year-old son, he in the beginning would just be like, man, we gotta listen to this every morning. And now he gets in and he's listening to her just like, hey, he says it's just a way. And I tell him, man, that's our morning breakfast.
Yeah.
No, man does not live by bread alone. That's right. And so that's our morning breakfast, spiritual food to get us grounded, get us prepared, and the right mindset for the day.
Yeah.
I also send out a morning scripture to family and friends, probably 100 people a day, every day. I look for a message to send out. And I always tell my mom, I'm like, that's a message is really for me. Y'all just said the benefit from it. I share it with y'all, but it's for me, and it's a great way. Those two things really help me get my weekdays started off on the right track.
I'm the same way. I listen to Les Brown in the morning.
Oh, that's my guy. Some like Jake's is my leg guy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Any Bible quotes off the top of your head?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and live righteously, and will provide everything you need.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. Uh, so we've talked about spiritualism a little bit here and there. Let's talk about life experiences. How have you, or have you ever dealt with any setbacks in the past that kind of changed your trajectory to your future? And what was that? And how did you overcome that situation?
Yeah, another great question. Then we've all had, if you live long enough, you have setbacks, and I always have thought that, really, setbacks are meant to learn from and shape you and prepare you for what's to come, And then I had so many quote unquote setbacks. And I honestly, I look at it as, and I've learned this, years ago, they're not really setbacks, man. They're just, learning experiences. And the more of them that you have, the faster you speed up your learning curve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And most people try to avoid mistakes, setbacks, failures, whatever you want to call them. I've never ran from, so I have a whole lot. I can't really point out a whole lot or specific ones, but, whether it was business wise, personally, through sports, I've used all of them, man, to just learn from and try again,
Sure. Sure.
you know?
Well, I think they say it is either the cup is half empty or half full, right? It depends on how you look at things, right?
Yep. I'm a half bull guy.
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Oh, I've always liked that question, and I've never thought as an answer for myself, And I asked my wife one time, like, man, I love that question, but I have no answer for it. She was just like, "What advice do you give your sons?" So I was just like, "Okay, that's a smart."
And that's a great way to look at it. Those are my younger selves, like literally,
And man, the things that I try to instill in them is to, obviously, uh, work hard and give your best, but man, put God first.
Yeah.
Um, over sports, over everything. Make that your foundation.
Where they say, do it for God,
Yeah,
don't do it for yourself.
yeah, man, and you can never go wrong like that. And one of the things though that I do try to instill in them is patience, being patient. And for me that wasn't something that I had as a young dude. I was ambitious, whether it was sports or business or whatever, and wasn't the most patient person. So, through adversity, there were times where I wish I would have stuck it out a little longer, you know, and try to make sure that my sons had that right mindset of sticking things out because really great things happen, man, when you're patient, you put things in God's hands, just do your best and trust his timing, trust his ways. I found for me a lot of things work out that way. So try to instill that in my sons. Be more patient than I was.
I've tried to do the same things. They don't listen half the time. No,
Now, go through their own thing, just like we did.
yeah. Um, so we'll segue back into I-9 sports. How do you think I-9 sports has impacted the lives of kids and families in your community?
Man, I have so many amazing stories, Jade. Like it's incredible. There's been times because in the very beginning, my wife and I were out there every day, every minute, every hour. I Sports was running around. We were there. We're not there so much now, but in the beginning, man, we were able to meet thousands of families and kids, and I mean, I have stories of kids that this one little girl that just pops out in my mind. She had social anxiety, like to the 100th degree, man. And she didn't even want to get out there. And my wife was so, empathetic with her and just took her under, like literally under her wings, was hanging out with her, talking with her, trying to comfort her. And man, within a few weeks, she was able to get out there and actually interact with the other kids and play. By the end of the season, you would have never known that was the same kid. She was out there smiling, laughing, having fun. It was an unbelievable transformation. And we see it all the time with the 3-year-olds. They get out there and they still want to hold on to mom's leg and don't want to play. And then eventually they're out there playing and other kids, we get emails from parents that tell us how it's helped build up their kids' confidence, and transform personalities, just get them out of their shell. The friendships that you develop, the camaraderie and all those things, man. That's a stage of you forever, sure.
I mean, it sounds like great karma.
Yeah. Or that's what I'm hoping, yeah. You know, but it's like I told you in the beginning, man, the way sports have impacted me, I see it impacting kids, the family. And that's the thing. It's not just the kids, it impacts families.
Yeah.
It is a chance for families to come out together same time, for grandparents, godparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, everybody to come together to celebrate these kids and cheer them on and build them up.
Yeah.
Um, and they need it. They need it. We all need it. You know what I'm saying? And um, to me, that's really one of the coolest parts of being a part of INR is being able to really bring communities together, man, that really otherwise probably wouldn't have came together, but they had it. Yeah.
What the skills or traits do you think are essential for successful or successfully running a franchise on I sports?
A lot. And there's so because there's all aspects of business that you're dealing with. You got to deal with people. Obviously, whether it's kids, coaches, the parents, the staff. Um, yeah, you have to have good people skills, good communication skills. Um, and I think really you have to have a heart for what you're doing. It has to mean something to you uh, for it to be successful. And then, on the business side, man, you gotta know how to run business the right way, whether it's the books, taking care of the finances or picking the right people to work, and deal with the customers and um
Yeah, there's um the marketing aspect, just having, a good business acumen. And for me, I was able to develop a lot of skills that prepared me for this because I've had multiple businesses before this that I was able to learn from, through my mistakes
Sure.
and experiences. And then I was able to work in the corporate settings at world-class companies, and see how they ran it, and have mentors that were experienced business people, that I was able to pick their brains and just watch how they do business. And so all of those things, man, especially, put together with my love of sports and coaching and you know what I mean? All those things were like a perfect ingredient, for me to step into the situation that I'm in. Yeah. And I think every franchise, obviously is different. I'm in this youth sports space. I recommend people do what they're as passionate and knowledgeable about,
Yeah.
you know, if they're going to choose a business. One of the pieces of advice that I give people is don't do business just for money.
Yeah.
Don't, if you do that, you're setting yourself up, you know, for frustration, uh, and not really for success. To me, and I know that there are people out there that are investors and, financiers, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are giving your blood, sweat, and tears to something, make sure you love what you're doing.
Yes.
And it doesn't necessarily feel like work all the time. It's just you doing what you love to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like you love your job right now.
I do.
Yeah. How long do you see yourself doing the I-9 sports? Do you see on buying more I-9 sports? What do you see in the next couple of years for I-9 sports?
Well, we have 3 different territories right now. Now we go from Millbrae all the way to San Jose. That's enough on my plate right now, so I don't really plan on expanding more. Um, I plan on having I&I running for as long as I can, and definitely no plans on ever not having it, not being involved with the day to day forever. That never was my plan. But I do want to make sure that it's around, man, and impacting kids in the communities for years and years to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you came from a corporate setting and then you moved into I-9 sports. How's the dynamic changed? I know that you work with your wife, correct?
Really, she helps. Okay, but she has her own job, gobble time job, but she helps out because she loves me. She loves what we're doing, Um, but it was just cool when she got bought in, man. That was all I needed. I just needed at least one person ride with me, and she even ride with me. Um, but yeah, that was a good transition for me from the corporate situation to now. I was actually in between jobs because the job I had that got moved to Canada, so I was in the process of looking for a job, and this came across my lap, and uh, it's like, wow, okay, I think this is where it's what I should be doing.
Yeah. Well, when one door closes,
Yep, the next one just opens, man.
that's right. I've learned that.
That's what happened for me.
Nice.
Like I wasn't even looking.
Well, if people are interested in bringing your kids or their kids to your Ion Sports, how can they contact you?
Go to i9sports.com,
Okay.
and you'll be able to see our programs that we offer, and we're trying to offer more and more. Whether it's weekend leagues or clinics. We're doing after school programs at different venues, and so yeah, I mean, go to i9sports.com, and you'll find us, all our different locations on the peninsula. All the different programs that we're offering are shown there.
Okay. Well, look, I don't want to take too much of your time. I really appreciate you coming on the show and giving us some of your knowledge. And I really appreciate you helping our community and lifting our children up. Thank you for coming on. But this is Jade over at Black Wolvz Podcast, and I want to say thank you for all my listeners. Don't forget to like and subscribe the channel, and we'll talk to you later. Peace.